Hello, Terry. Welcome to Terry Thursday, I guess.
Yeah. Hi, how are
Since there
you?
was no Terry Tuesday, I'm doing all right. We had a pretty solid day yesterday at Tampa Bay Downs. I hope people followed along and could have been a fantastic. I think we missed the exact in one race out of the 9 races on the card.
Yeah, and actually, if they'd played all of your picks, the exactas, trifectas, pick fours, they would have won $167.75. If they did mine, they would have won around $85.
And that's a $2, the $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, and then the pick fours as we laid them out. And the thing is, in that last race, I feel like if the 6 got a little bit better trip, the long shot probably would have won. And then that pick 4 goes from $80, it goes to $400.
Yeah, that's absolutely
just by
correct.
that much, Terry. Right? It's
I know,
like
it's
fishing,
fun.
the big one that got away. Well, last night, I hope you watched the. I know you tuned in, Terry. Right, for sure. You watched Jessica, Eclipse-winning, award-winning jockey Jessica Pfeiffer joined Sean and Jamie. Was a fun show. I tuned in. I watched yesterday, commented a couple of times. She talked a little bit about, I thought was a lot of fun, about a race she had with her boyfriend where they were in last place, about 20 lengths off of everybody else. And then we'll watch the show to see what happened after that. So there were some events on the racetrack and then some events off the racetrack. So you're going to want to watch that. It's a great story, Terry.
It was. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time watching her last night. So
It was a lot of fun indeed. I appreciate that too. Hi, Carlos. How are you? Thank you. We wish you luck today, no matter what you're doing. We hope it ends up in the winner's circle, right? Hey, Carlos. But what we are going to be doing today, Terry, is pretty straightforward. We're going to do Aqueduct. That's what we promised we'd do. That's what we're going to do, Terry. So you want to get started with that New York track?
absolutely. Let's go.
All right, let's get it on. Rest in peace, Mills Lane. I don't know if you watch boxing, Terry, but he was a smaller referee, but one of the better ones. All right, race number one, 6.5 furlongs maiden claiming. This one is for $25,000. The purse is $35,000 at Aqueduct. 6.5 furlong types are usually won by horses that have some tactical speed, and in races where there's a 8 or out, big bonus on those outside posts, Terry. I went ahead and put together this is the simulation of 1,000 races. Race number one's over here on the left. Do I have this up? I do have it up, right, Terry? Because I don't have it on my screen. But according to the 1,000 simulations of the races, the 3-horse should be the one that gets the lead about 68% of the time. And if you watch the last couple of days when we put there up, they're pretty accurate. And 33% of the time, a horse that gets to the lead goes wire to wire at 6.5 furlongs. So keep an eye out for that 3-horse if you like the speed type. And he comes out of the box right away as a left arrow horse in our way to the winner's circle worksheet. Again, E-horses are ones that usually lead all the way around the track, so wire-to-wire types. EPs can go wire-to-wire, but they can also co-pilot within 2 lengths of the lead. Pressure horses haven't shown the ability yet to go wire-to-wire, but they do tend to sit right off the pace. Pressure closers are those that sit off the pace or can get a little bit farther back. All these arrows show you which way the horses are moving in class. 6 horses moving up, and it looks to me like the lone class dropper in here is that 7-horse. Terry, take it away with your picks for race 1 today.
All right. Well, I like the number 3 horse, New York Supreme. She has finished in the money in 50% of her races, and her trainer in the last 14 days has won 2 out of 6 starts. Now, like number 1, Fosti Invasion. She finished third versus similar in her last race, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 4, Bonana Fana Foe.
What?
Bonana Fana Foe.
What?
Bonana Fana Foe. Anyway, she ran second in her last
When you saw
race.
that, were you like, oh, man, I hope this one doesn't end up in my picks?
Well, it reminds me of Saturday Night Live, and I forget the lady's name.
I know. I think you're talking about Gilda Radner, right?
I am, and
yes,
I really
like, quick story: the guy Georgie Smith, the guitar player from Hall & Oates, and from on Saturday Night Live. If you remember him, he's actually a log pile cousin of my aunt-in-law. And my
Oh,
parents and my grandparents used to have a shoe store in a town called Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. And Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner were married, right?
right.
So Georgie Smith, Gilda Radner, and Georgie Smith all came into the family shoe store. I didn't get to meet them, but the family did. So
Oh, wow.
actually not all that far away. I'll tell you another story someday, Terry, about that Saturday Night Live stuff, but you wouldn't believe it if I told you. But go ahead.
Well,
Finish up with your picks.
Well, anyway, the number 4 horse ran second in her last race, and she was only losing by a neck, has a high percent winning trainer, and has the highest last speed rating. And then number 7, Warslam. She has a high percentage winning trainer and has a decent workout on December 2nd.
All right. So for me, let me do a little Matthew McConaughey. All right. In race number 1, for me, I like the 3. New York Supreme 2. That's my left arrow horse in there, Terry. And in its last race, it showed some major improvement through the first half mile of the race. This will be the second start off the break for this guy and or for this lady. And unfortunately, her record is kind of mixed. That's probably why they're in the maiden claiming types. The second horse in race number 1 for me is Frosty Invasion. It sounds like high school dating life. Last race was better across the board when you look at the internal pace numbers. Her past performances say expect a significant improvement in round 2 out of the barn. Number 4, yes, that Bonifanafo. Not a fan of the Finger Lakes to Naira angle at all, but this horse did run considerably much faster fractions last out. And trainer Chris Englehart wins at 23% in the third race after a layoff versus 18% overall. So a alpha angle for one of the Engleharts. And then number 7, War Salam. Anyway, this guy's taking the biggest drop in class in the field. Been off for more than a year, but the November 25th workout was pretty good. I just wonder, it's been off for so long, Terry, what the horse is going to bring to the table. It might just need one. So I was thinking about that, or the 6. Race 2 at Aqueduct is 6 furlongs, claiming $12,500. At 6 furlongs, you want a horse that has some early speed. The rail and posts 4 through 7 so far have performed the best. If you get an 8 or an out, there is a penalty. 32%. So almost a third of the horses go wire to wire. And in race number 2 over here, we see a little bit of competition on the outside. Looks like Big Q is the most probable, again, the 3 horse here to get the lead, followed by She's a Black Belt. And then finally, number 4, Dat Dares Gold. That's what the early pace looks like. The race shape finds the first scratch of the day with the 1A being out. The 5 horse up here on the front, perhaps all by himself, has a plus advantage through 4 furlongs. So should be the one that's potentially on the lead. Got to keep your eye out on these lone PC types too, Terry. Any of those in your picks?
Yeah, I actually like the 1A as my top bet, for best bet of today. But I felt that the 1 was pretty close. And as I've always said, when there's an entry, I think that the trainer scratches the 1 so that they think they have the one that has the best shot left. Mm-hmm. So I like number 1, Prairie Fire. The rail post is winning in a 19% clip. The trainer wins 26% of the races when he brings a beaten favorite back to race again. And her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 4 is my second pick, Dat Dares Gold. She has finished in the money in 9 out of her last 10 races. So she likes to be right there in the mix, winning 3 of those starts, and has a high percentage winning jockey. And then number 2, Greatest Love. She switches to a high percentage winning trainer, and the distance won't be a problem for her. And then number 3, Big Q. She was claimed by a trainer in her last race who wins 22% of the time in the first race after claiming a horse and has the highest last race speed rating.
I don't know what's going on here today, Terry, but this card is going to probably be formful if you and I see everything the same way through the first 2 races. Prairie Fire is that lone pressure closer type, did run faster fractions at 7 furlongs in its last race. Has a nice workout in between, so one that should be really sharp. Number 4, Dat Dares Gold, tied for the top last race speed figure, and that's after showing improvement from the beginning to the middle to the end in the last race. Number 2, The Greatest Love. Number 1, race off the claim for trainer Charlton Baker. It's an alpha angle for Mr. Baker, wins at 21% versus 17% overall. And another one that has some decent workouts now that it's in a new barn. And then finally, number 3, Big Q at the distance, 7 times, 3 wins, 2 seconds, and has the best Aqueduct numbers at the distance. Race number 3 is 1 mile. It is on the main track, of course, because they're not going to run any the turf races right now. Claiming 16,000, non-winners of 2. The purse is $28,000. Type of horses that have the profile of a winner at a mile at Aqueduct, in that 1-turn mile. Early, outside, in speed. 24% of the horses go wire to wire. Again, if you want to see which horse has the best chance of doing it, it looks like it's going to be a drag race between number 2, My Beauty Princess, and number 7, Raining Candy, though I think Raining Candy has scratched in this race, if I remember correctly. So it looks like it's going to come down to the 2 or the 5. She caught my eye. I have to do these at night the night before. Otherwise, I wouldn't have time to get them done in the morning. So that's why they don't reflect the scratches. And if I remember correctly, and I did, thankfully, the brain works sometimes, the 7 is indeed out of this race. So we get a barbell race, Terry. We got 2 horses on the front and 3 horses in the back. 1 horse to 4 horses, never been close. If that guy beats us, well, that's horse racing. Terry, does he have a chance?
Well, I'll tell you what, I like the 1 horse, April Antics, the closer. You know, she finished 3rd versus similar in her last race. She has the highest last race speed rating, and she has the highest speed figure at today's distance. And then I like number 5, She Caught My Eye. She has a trainer who wins 22% of the races in the first race after claiming a horse, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 2, my 3rd pick, My Beauty Princess. Her early speed running style improves her chances, and she may improve with blinkers, which keeps her mind on business. Mm-hmm. And then number 6, Ice Cream Sunday. She was bumped at the start in her last race, which really affected the finish, and she has a good jockey.
So this sounds like it could be like the story of when you met Honey Bunny, when you put these together. Yeah. She caught my eye, My Beauty Princess, and we got together for some April antics after an ice cream sundae, Terry. What do you think of that?
I think that's pretty good. Yeah.
I just made that up on the fly. How do you like that? A little bit of improv, I guess. I don't know. This is our $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. Hence, we call it Box It Up. And for me, in race, so let's be Terry, his box it up is the 1, the 5, the 2, and the 6. And for me in race number 3, my first choice in here, I wonder if we're going to be exactly the same again. I have the 1A in here, Terry, as my top pick. Oh, I'm in the wrong race. Sorry. I do have the 1 horse as my top pick. All right. Something's going on here today, Terry. April Antics, top last race speed figure, 5 consecutive speed figure increases in a row. Probably as good, or if not better, than she was in the last race in the second start off the layoff. The 5 horse, She Caught My Eye. Linda Rice is taking this horse, dropping it off the claim, which I think is like a 31% angle for her. Some really nice workouts, and the run back to maiden claiming win would be easy work here, in the words of Floyd Mayweather. Number 2, My Beauty Princess, has the best early pace, late pace combination in the field, and some of her fastest fractions to date. Last out. And then number 6, Ice Cream Sunday. Top late pace numbers in the field, considerably better in the first half mile of its last race. So put together some new improved early speed with the late speed she's shown regularly, and you'll have a more complete race.
How are you getting in my computer and seeing what I'm doing?
I think it's the other way around, brother. All right, race 4, 1 mile, again, claiming $20,000, purse for $44,000. Again, 1 mile favors horses that have a little bit of speed, preferably on the outside versus the inside. Again, 24% go wire to wire. And in race number 4, we see that the 1A and the 4, Chris and Dave, should be the ones that compete for the lead when the gates open and they start kicking up some dirt. In race number 4, there are a couple scratches. The 1 is out. So Terry's angle is going to come back into play again with the trainer scratching one of the entries. The 7 is out. So this makes the race a little bit more balanced. A couple of horses, the 1A and the 6, looking for command at the gun. Terry, are you going to go ahead and take your angle here again with the 1 or 1A?
Well, not as my top pick. I
Ooh.
like the number 4, Chris and Dave. I've bet this horse several times in the past. He finishes third versus similar in his last race, has the highest last speed rating, and a trainer who wins 26% of the claiming races he has a horse in. Then I do like the 1A, Pioneer Spirit. He finished third versus Tougher in his last race, drops in class today, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And I agree with the trainer; that's the best one out of his two. So scratching the 1 was a good move. I like number 6, Truculent. Truculent. Oh, you got it right. He drops in class today. His early speed running style helps chances, and he can improve with blinkers being added today. And then I like number 5, Hammer and Amber. He likes Aqueduct, and he likes this distance.
All right, let's see if we can make it 4 for 4 where we agree perfectly. No, a little bit of difference in here today. I like the 1A horse here too, Terry, as my top pick. It's your second pick, so a little bit of a change. It just proves that it's you that's in my computer, not the other way around. Best Aqueduct numbers by a little bit in this race, and did show a lot of improvement through the first half mile in its last start. Number 4, Chris and Dave, the one Terry's bet on that's made him the prime rib better in the group, was the lone EP horse in this field. Top last race speed figure. Again, a horse that improved from the beginning to the middle in the end of its last race with internal numbers. But the problem for me is this horse just loves second place at the distance. 26 times, did win 7, but half of the times, 13 finished second with 3/3. So look for this one to maybe hang a little bit at the end. Number 6, Truculent, big class drop in here. The lowest level this horse has run in its last 10. And when it ran that race, it won wire to wire with ease. That was at Oak Lawn Park, which opens up tomorrow, I think. So big opening day down there in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And then finally, the first horse on the entire card that we have different, Terry, I have the 2 horse in here, which is Bourbon Bay. Becomes the lone P horse with the scratches, probably in the better start with the third off of the layoff angle. And what I like about this guy coming into this third start is the bullet and go. So when you see one of those classic handicapping angles and then evidence that the horse is actually in better form, maybe you jump on that guy. So that's why I went ahead and put the 2 there instead of the 5, Terry.
I believe the 2 is scratched, though.
It is?
Let me check.
What race is that? Race 5? I didn't scratch the 5
no,
out.
4.
2.
4.
Race 4?
Yeah.
No, I have the 1 and the 7 out. Race. Okay, let me see. Race 3, race 4. Yeah, the 2 is in there. Bourbon Bay.
Oh, okay.
Is in there. Yes, you're confusing me, Terry. All right, race. Or you want to change your 5 to 2 now, just to absolutely prove without a doubt it's you who's in my computer?
No, I don't. I didn't have the 2 there at all.
All right. Back to Matthew McConaughey. Race 5 again, another 1 mile race. Again, early speed. Looks like you want to have a horse that has a little bit of outside to inside speed in race number 5. It's also the end of our hot dog pick 4, which we'll bring up in just a moment. So we have $20, put it together in a small ticket. See if we can indeed hit that pick 4. In race number 5, again, our look at, well, this one had too many, race 5 had too many first-time starters or not enough data to go ahead and do what the pace would look like with the simulation. So we'll go ahead and just look at what the race shape could look like. 8 horses, the first over here to make its first start of the day. The 1 and the 5 have the most early speed. That's why they're boxed off here. Look for them to perhaps get the lead. If not, they'll be challenged by the 2 horse. And if he does get the lead, look out, because sometimes those lone E's can make it easy work in these races. Terry, how do you see it playing out?
All right. In this race, I like the number 1, Bourbon Chase. Although he was he scratched?
I don't think so, Terry. I don't have the one scratched out.
No, it's Dark Storm. No, he wasn't scratched.
So in race number 5, in terms of scratches, hold on a
second. Yeah, it's number 1 is my choice, Bourbon.
Yeah, Chase. I don't have any scratches in
no
race number 5.
No scratches. You're right. I just got a little confused there. That's what happens when you turn 73. Anyway, he ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest last race speed rating. His best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 7 is my second pick, Drake's Passage. He finished third versus similar in his last race, Trainer wins 23% of the 2-year-old races that he has a horse entered in. And then number 2, Wanna Winna. He has an early foot. The trainer wins 23% of the time when he's going from a sprint to a route. And then I like number 3, Inspector. He is trained by Steve Asmussen, ridden by Jose Lascano. And this combination in the last 14 days has won 3 out of 4 starts.
Okay, that combination's done pretty well. Hopefully my combination does well here. Hopefully the ones do well today, Terry, because look at that. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. If all the ones win, Rich and Terry are going to have a phenomenal day. Bourbon Chase is my best bet of the day. I'm going to put the Chris Parmalu angle to work here. This horse has finished second in both of its races. Chris says look for horses that finish second and the next time out in maiden races. So he's done it twice. Did run the top last race speed figure in its last start with better fractions in the first part of the race at 7 furlongs than it did at 6 furlongs. So let's see if additional distance helps out here. Number 7, Drake's Passage, sizable stride forward in its second career starts. Couple of sharpen the saw workouts since then. Number 2, Wanna Winna. Possible lone E-horse, as we mentioned in the Way to the Winner's Circle worksheet. Better fractions in its second start as well. Another horse that could be better in its second start after a layoff. So had its debut, took some time off, came back to the track. Let's see if it can be better today. And our second pick that's different on the card, I got the 5 horse. Sharpaz was a hard call for me over that 3 that you have there, Terry, but did show some early pace in its debut. Trainer Richard Schosberg hits a 29% versus 12% overall in the second start of its career. All right, Terry, that is indeed the end of the early pick 4. We have it as our hot dog pick 4. For the most part, we're kind of the same. You're going to live and die on that one horse. If it wins, you're going to have a pretty good advantage throughout the remainder of the card. I'm going to go 3 by 3 by 2 by 2. I felt in the race 4, the 1 and the 1A and the 4, probably the 2 best horses. And I felt like in that last race, the 1 and the 7 were the best. So I look for a little bit of coverage maybe up front to try to beat one of those early favorites to see if indeed maybe you can get a better payout. What was your thinking?
Yeah, I wanted to keep my one horse again. I mean, I did that yesterday and he ran second, but I think today it's going to win. So I wanted to go ahead and do that. And then, of course, I wanted some more coverage in the next race and the last race. And by the way, Aqueduct just ran the first race and our 3 horse won it. The 5 horse ran second.
So the 5 horse ran, so it went
3-5. I didn't see who ran third.
So. Oh, we didn't have the 5. Huh? We both had the same pick. So
yeah.
Well, we needed that 5 in there, Terry, to get off to a good start. But at least we got the 3 horse as our top pick, correct?
Yeah, and he
went off at 3-1. It looks like, so that's not bad.
He paid pretty well. So
and it was a low level maiden claiming type race. So interesting to see what happens for the rest of the card. Hopefully, it goes 1-1-1-1-1 the rest of the day, Terry. At least, would be indeed. Race 6 is a mile and an eighth. It is optional, claiming $45,000. Non-winners of 2. At a mile and an eighth, the profile of a winner favors horses with early inside-out speed, 27% of which have gone wire to wire. In race number 6, we see here that it looks like number 4, Balthazar is the most likely candidate to get the lead 61% of the time at the quarter-mile marker. In 1,000 simulations, it won the sprint to the quarter pole. Our Way to the Winner's Circle worksheet for race number 6, we find that the 5 horse is scratched in here. This race looks a lot similar to a race we saw a little early on, race number 4, where you have 2 speed horses up front, the 4 and the 6. They get boxed off. They do have the most early pace. The 1, 2, and 3 should give chase. We'll find out which one can pass, if any, at the finish line. Terry, who do you have on top?
All right. Well, I like in this race the number 4, Speed Burner, Balthazar. He is undefeated in 2 starts at Aqueduct, and that's the only races he's had so far. His early speed will be a big plus. And then I like number 2, Sundays with Sandy. He won his last race at Aqueduct, has the highest last race speed rating. And I like the number 1, Boston Moves. He has a win at Aqueduct, and the Werrell Post is winning a 19% clip. Then number 6, Prince of Pharaohs is my 4th pick. He finished 3rd in his last race, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters.
I have the 4 horse first 2, Terry. Balthazar, your long shot's my top pick. As you mentioned, 2 races, 2 wins. You just don't know how good a horse is until it loses. So we'll find out today if it can continue to move up the conditions ladder. Number 6, Prince of Pharaohs. First off, the claim for trainer Merkten Kantamasi. Yeah, I know I screwed that up. Wins at 17% there, which is a pretty good number overall. Aqueduct, 13 times out. No wins yet, but 4 seconds and 3/3. So clearly a horse that does like the track. Number 2, Sunday with Sandy. Winner of 2 in a row. Better internal race numbers from the beginning to the middle to the end of that last start. And all ended up adding up to the top last race speed figure. And then number 3, Wild Banker, shown some brilliant, and I mean brilliant early pace in some of its past races. It's kind of hot or cold, though. So we get that brilliant version. Could do very well. At Aqueduct, it's the best track to probably see it. It's run 15 times, 4 wins, a second and 2/3. Put that horse at any other track in another 15 races. It's only won once. So clearly a horse for the Aqueduct course. Race number 7 is next up on the board for us, Terry. This one is a 6 furlongs, maiden claiming 20 grand. So just like we saw in that first race right there, Terry, maiden claiming 20 grand type race. At 6 furlongs, you want a horse that has some early speed, again, the rail, and post 4 through 7. So far, I've done the best. 8 and out do get penalized. 32% of the horses here have gone wire to wire. And in race number 7, we see that the 8 horse, Charlotte, sometimes is the one that's most likely to get the lead in race number 7. I don't think that one's, it is scratched. So if not Charlotte, then it looks like it's going to be a competition between the 2 inside horses, Fuligini and Gracefully Wild. Our way to the winner's circle worksheet for race number 7 indeed does show that the 8 horse is out. Got a left arrow horse in here again, Terry, with this 1 horse. Typically a closer type, dropping in class into this maiden spot, and enough early pace to put it close to the front. Probably going to compete with the 2 for the lead. Who's going to compete for the wire?
All right. Well, I like the number 4 horse, Divine Wine. She takes a major class drop today and has a highest last speed rating, and she can improve with blinkers being added today. Then I like number 2, Gracefully Wild. She ran second in her last race, has a good trainer and jockey. I like number 3 as my 3rd pick, Mostly Harmless. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and she has a good workout on November 17th. And then I like that number 1 horse that you talked about. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. She has a good workout on December 2nd, and the rail post is winning at a 19% clip.
Wow, there's a lot of commonality today, Terry. So I really wonder if this card's going to be littered with either horses we don't have or low-priced horses, because if we see things so similarly, I have to think a lot of other players do too. It's my box it up. It's a race where I feel like you can get some decent prices. Divine Wine is the top pick as well here. Has a 9-point early pace edge over the rest of the field. And I think this one's likely to move a little bit closer to the front. Excuse me, it's a late pace edge. So more likely to move a little bit closer to the front in the drop on the class. And with the drop coming off the top last race speed figure, really like that combination. Gracefully Wild is the lone P horse between the speed and the closers. And if you add the beginning to the end of the race, has the best combination of early and late speed. Mostly Harmless, that's us, Terry. Held her speed into the stretch in the last race, usually a pretty good sign the horse is getting in form. So the cutback from a mile to 6 furlongs should be helpful here. And then number 1, Fuligini, gets the high win rate rail for her second off the break, a 21% angle for 13% winning trainer James. The name is James Bond. And has some decent maintenance workouts between races. Again, box it up, $1 exacta box, 50-cent try, 10-cent superfect the box. Race number 8's another 6 furlong race with early speed being the beneficiary. On the rail, post 4 through 7. Again, if you get that penalty, if you wear an 8 or out. In race number 8, there's only 3 horses in this race. There are a lot of them scratched out. We got the 4, the 5, and the 1. So according to what's left, it looks to me like the 4 is the one that's most likely to get the lead. I don't know that the pace worksheet really makes much of a difference, Terry, here. So let's just get on to the 3 picks. How are you going to put them in what order?
All right. Well, I like the number 5 horse, Masako or whatever. She has won 4 out of her last 5 races. She lost her last race after having quite a bit of problems during the race, and Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then I like number 1, Piece of My Heart. She ran second in her last race, and the rail post, as I've said a couple of times, is winning at a 19% clip. And then number 4, Follette. She finished third in her last race, can improve the shorter distance, and she has a good 4 furlong workout on the 30th of November.
So yeah, Charles trying to take claim for some of the luck that he's had lately by saying I'm in your computer when it's clear that both of you guys are on mine. Because to me, I'm going to go with the 4-horse here, Terry. It wasn't my first pick at first. But in these really short fields, a lot of times the horse that gets to the lead, especially if the fractions are kind of manageable, so nobody's going to go hog crazy. But this one has the best early pace as it is anyway. And when Kendrick gets up on the front, they switch to Kendrick Carmouche. He usually does pretty well. So I think with all the scratches and now the 4 clearly going to be the pace setter, this guy has a shot to go wire to wire. Then I'm going to go with the 5-horse in there, Cinco. Drops from $150,000 non-graded stakes to a level where she won 4 in a row. And then number 1, Piece of My Heart, has a 7-point late pace edge at Aqueduct, 4 times out, 3 wins in a second. 3 seconds in a third. But second off the bench record for the 1-horse is usually kind of spotty. So I really did change up my picks here a little bit because I was going to go with the 5-1 and the 4 was going to be my 4th choice in the 5-horse field. But with the scratches, I do think it dynamically changes the race shape all the way around. All right, last race on the card, Terry, is race number 9, 7 furlongs. It's the first time today that we're going to see a 7-furlong race. And at 7 furlongs, the kind of horse that typically finds the winner's circle has outside speed, a giant bonus if it wears a 8 or out. 27% of the horses have gone wire to wire at the distance. And in race number 9, looks to me like the horse that has the most early speed is indeed, of course, the 8-horse, and it's scratched. But the 7-horse would be next up, and the 1. So the 7 and the 1 likely to be your pace setters when the gates open. 7 also gets the designation here as a left arrow horse again, a pressure closer type that has enough early speed to move it towards the front. 8's out. But the 1-horse is has similar qualities. Another one that's usually towards the back with its normal giddy up and go when the gates open should be enough to put it in contention. But is it enough of an advantage to win in your book, Terry? Are you with us or are you on mute?
Get the mute off. Sometimes I forget to get that mute off. But anyway, yeah, I like in this race, I like the number 5-horse, Steiner. He won his last 2 races in a row, so he's going for a hat trick, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 7, Easy Day. He ran second in his last race and has the highest last race speed rating. Number 1's my 3rd pick, Oh Trouble. He won his last race at Aqueduct and has a bullet workout on December 3rd. And then number 9, Runabout. He has won 3 out of his last 5 races.
Indeed, in a good streak for number 9. I'm going to go with number 1 as my long shot in here. Oh Trouble is a left arrow horse, has a bullet workout getting ready for this race, so one that should be in really top form. And at Aqueduct, 6 times out, 3 wins, 2 seconds in a third. So clearly a horse for the course. Number 7, Easy Day, is my 2nd choice. Left arrow horse as well. Has the best combination of early, mid, and late pace. Going to run a complete race. And ran the top last race speed figure last time out, which was its first time on the Aqueduct course. Number 10, Lost in Rome. Better again against the board, across the board in its last start. And if you look at the last race since then, it's had a very good, and I mean a very good workout. And then finally, number 5, Steiner, my last choice of the day. Could be the lone E-horse in a race filled with horses that prefer to be middle of the pack and back. So also our prime rib pick for Terry, where we put together a ticket for $100 or less. Some similar structure. We both have races where we have 3 and then 4 and then 5 in the other legs. You put them in the middle. Of course, race number 8, we basically both bought that race. So if we can get through race 6 and 7, we have a 100% chance to get the race number 9. Is that how you put it too in your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I felt that the 9th race was the most wide open, so I wanted to get as much coverage as possible. I was only going to use 2 horses in that 8th race, But then when you get a little small field like this, it's really hard to get it down to. I either going to single a horse or I'm going to use all three, and I decided all three. And so actually, I put in the horse that you liked, number 4. I would have used the 1 and 4, and I added the 5 to it. So, or should have been the other way around. But anyway,
Yeah, I have. Yeah, mine should really be 4, 5, and 1. I don't know why I have the 5 first, but in any case, that's how I'm breaking it down. We're both spending $90, hoping to make it to the last leg alive with 5 horses, and hopefully, of course, to get our longest shots home in every single one. Again, here are our full card picks. Terry's best bet coming up in race number 2. So make sure you make a note of that. That is the 1 horse, which I have a ton of 1 horses and 4. So to me, if the 1s and the 4s after the 3 won that first leg, are going to be a great day for sure. My best bet, not surprisingly, is in number 1 in race number 5. Terry's long shot coming up in race number 6. That's the 4 horse. My long shot, again, no surprise. I should have wore the red 1 shirt today, Terry, considering how many 1 horses I have in here. Our hot dog pick 4 coming up in just a moment in race number 2. Terry going with the 1 as a single. I have the 1s down there, so it's going to be a red day, hopefully. Red day for Rich. Our prime rib pick 4s in race 6, 7, 8, and 9. Looking for the 4s to come through for me in the back half of the card. Terry will do well if the 4s do well too. And then our box it ups. Terry's is in race number 3. Mine's race 7. $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box, Terry. And another thing you might want to do, college football. I know it starts off in a week, but tonight there will be college basketball. Our good friend, Professor Sides, with Picks with the Professor, every day putting his ideas out there for college basketball, college football, hockey. There's a link in the description down below. Tonight, if you're going to play Evangeline Downs, please head on over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Again, there's a link in the description down below. You'll see Evangeline Downs is the free track of the day. In the first race, the 1A, AJ's Maxim Out will be the top selection. Of course, we have picks in every single race. And if you wanted to look as good as Terry does today, please head on over to horseracingtoday.net. A lot of great content over there. And you will see there's a link right here, Horse Racing Today gear. Click on that, pick up some great stuff. I actually got this shirt in the mail. I'll have it on in a couple days. Obviously, I got the guy version, but not this one. I got the other one. I'm sorry. Which one did I get? I got this one right here. And I think it looks really, really good, Terry. Sean got it. He put it on last night. It's one that I'm going to order again. It's a way that you can help horse racing today. Keep the lights on around here. All right, Terry, I think we've gone through everything. Tomorrow, Tom and I will be back at 2 o'clock Eastern, a little bit later start than usual for Sha Tin on Hong Kong. Saturday, Terry and I will be back together again, same time at 12 o'clock Eastern. We will cover Louisiana Champions Day at Fairgrounds. A lot of big races there. That'll start again at 12 o'clock Eastern. Then, of course, next Monday, Sean will be back with our new host, Julie. Looking forward to that as well. So a lot of great stuff going on. If you haven't done so yet, Terry, what should they do?
Yeah, they should go ahead and, on, excuse me, I had to cough there for a minute. On, oh man,
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all
Instagram.
Of the social sites.
Yeah, on YouTube, you need to God, I'm having a hard time here.
You got to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, follow us on our social sites at Horse Race the number 2 day. We actually have a TikTok, so Jamie and Julie will be in charge of that. Hopefully putting up some fantastic content. Hopefully Terry and I put up some fantastic picks today at Aqueduct. Got off to a good start with our first pick, winning at 3-1. So I'll take an $8 winner to start the day. Terry, what do you say?
Yeah, I think that's a good price, $8.30. That's really good. So, so if you bet $20 on it, you made you got back to $83. So that's
not
cool.
bad at all. Can't do that at the bank. And you certainly can't do that in the NFL unless you want to take a team that is a 9-point underdog. That's why horse racing, I think, is the best bet in town. Any final thoughts, Terry, before we get up and get out of here?
Yeah, just take it easy this week and, be safe. Give your loved ones a hug and a kiss and hope everybody does well and everything they have going on this week.
Indeed. We hope that you go out today and you make somebody smile or make yourself smile today. Have a fantastic Terry Thursday. And whether you're going to bet at Aqueduct, you're going to bet at Evangeline Downs, going to bet the NFL tonight, no matter what. And if you are, keep an eye on our Twitter. We'll put our picks out there. No matter what it is that you're doing, we hope it ends up in one place, Terry, and it can only be
the winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic Terry Thursday.